When the very first ships sailed and landed on this strange place, she was there, with the pilgrims in tow, her little feet tattered along the promised land. With a scale in one hand and a sword in the other, she led the colonies practically blindfolded. When someone's breath vanished, she was there. When the blacksmith fell sick from an illness that seemed all too suspicious, she was there. And when the British killed civilians in the Boston Massacre, she was there. And finally, when she was given a name and the powers of a full-fledged nation. Today, we know her as Lady Justice. But with great power comes great responsibility. But when given the power of a nation, Lady Justice's scale now tipped in favor of that government. When slavery continued for another 400 years, people would ask, where is Lady Justice? When the Civil War ended and Jim Crow laws plagued the South, where was Lady Justice? To the Brown versus Board case, segregation throughout the nation, mass incarceration of colored folks, the internment camps for the Japanese, the atomic bombs and poisonous gas dropped in Vietnam, Iraq, Iran, Cuba, Afghanistan. Where was Lady Justice, you might ask? Well, it appears that her blindfold had been exchanged for tinted shades, her scale now used to measure her donation box. And her justice, well, we're still looking for that.
Hello, good morning. Welcome to FEM Feminist Entertainment Media. This is Veronica Sawyer broadcasting live at the trial of Lady Justice. Our main headline today, Lady Justice is now on trial for the federal crime of corruption. She's been accused of accepting bribes from college admissions officers, federal judges, businesses, and policemen. In doing so, it is alleged that she has robbed Americans of their futures, reproductive freedom, and their very lives. This is the trial of the century, reported on by every international news outlet, including FEM. I'm Veronica Sawyer, and I'll be delivering updates as the trial progresses. In the meanwhile, we have a tape of an exclusive announcement from Lady Justice's daughter herself, Miss Law. Hi, Miss Law. Thank you for being with me here today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
So, Law, tell us about your relationship with your mother.
Well, what can I say? We disagree on basically everything about my work, but I have to do what she says because she's my mom and I'm still a little too young to be doing everything on my own. So I just need to trust her and to listen to her because she has that power over me and she knows that. And that's why she likes to tell me what laws to make and tells me what to do because she knows she can.
So, what's your relationship with your aunt, Lady Luck, like?
We don't talk much, to be honest. I mean, Lady Luck doesn't like my mom at all, very much. She always says that my mom is too righteous, too moralistic, kind of snobby. They just disagree a lot. So my mom and I barely see her. It's just such a tense and uncomfortable vibe whenever they meet up.
Would you say you have a father figure in your life?
No, not really. I don't know who my dad is. My mom never told me.
Miss Law, I have a copy of your birth certificate with me.
Okay.
You recognize this, right?
Yeah, I do. Why?
To your knowledge, is it accurate?
Well, it says I was born June 1st, 1789, which is when the first law was signed to the US, and it says that I was born to Lady Justice. Also true, and my dad is unnamed. So, I mean, yeah, I'd say it's accurate.
You see, Miss Law, I thought it was too, but I'm a reporter. So to verify the history surrounding your birth, I actually went to Kindred Hospital, Philadelphia, where you were allegedly born on June 1st, 1789.
I'm sorry, allegedly?
Miss Law, out of all the birth certificates I've examined, the papers always just felt a bit thicker, rougher. On the other hand, your birth certificate felt a little too smooth, a little too thin, a little too perfect. It was obviously just a hunch at the time, but I did a bit of digging anyway, and you know what I found? I found out that the first law was signed by George Washington. So, my next stop, I went all the way to Arlington, to Virginia Hospital Center, which is the area near Mount Vernon where Washington lived. I asked for their records, which are confidential to the public, but a source inside the center gave me the documents I asked for. This, Miss Law, is the real copy of your birth certificate. Can you read what it says about your parents for me?
It says that
What?
my father is George Washington and my mother is called Lady Hypocrisy. How is this even possible? I would have known. I mean, what is this trying to say about me? About the law?
George Washington had an affair with Madame Hypocrisy, one that led to your birth in 1789. And I'll bet good money that the founding fathers also helped cover this up.
I don't believe you.
For me?
It's an adoption record. It says an infant by the name of Law was adopted on January 10th, 1790 by Lady Justice. What, I was like a half years old. She really just, everything is falling into place. I mean, my mom has deemed herself superior to every other minority, to democracy. She sits here and she fights for her innocence while women during the witch trials were killed, some with no evidence of their guilt and some who committed no crime at all.
And there it is, an expose of the complex and shocking family history of the Justice family, raising questions of who should be put on trial, that's for sure. Thank you for joining me. I'm Veronica Sawyer. Send us your comments and reactions at #hypocrisy and law, and we'll share the top 5 most shared comments.
Man, I really wish we could be there to see it in person.
Yeah, that would be so cool.
I heard this trial is pretty serious.
Yeah, she could probably get life in prison.
All rise for the Honorable Judge Nonpartisan.
Justice means do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So if you don't want to get raped or killed, sliced and diced, skinned alive, don't do it to others. Simple, right? Well, things get a little complicated when you put social and moral standards into the mix. Now we have a justice system that relies not on equality, but hypocrisy. Now you have a nation where we, its citizens, sit on a pinnacle of moral and social standards and call ourselves gods. Court is now in session. I would like you to begin your opening statements. D.A. Gupta.
Thank you, Your Honor. Justice, is that really her name? People of the jury, I implore you to look beyond her mask. She is a twisted hypocrite who remains seated before you. A two-faced murderer hiding beneath darkened shades. A coward, refusing to admit to her crimes against humanity. Justice. Lady Justice? Do you think mercy was served to the thousands of women being trafficked? The victims of assault whose voices were shut down, who died in her arms? She calls herself Justice. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to look at your sons and daughters. The ones you love who go to school and face peril every day. And then I want you to look into the eyes of the victims of gun violence and ask them, did the Second Amendment protect you? Parents and children are torn apart at the border because of her. And here she is about to walk free. Someday you may be in a courtroom like this one and she may destroy you too. For all of the blood on her hands, I am asking you to give justice the harshest of penalties. For those wrongfully incarcerated in her name, for the LGBTQIA+ communities denied of their identities and their rights, for allowing police to get away with murder. Lady Justice should be found guilty, and I am asking you to sentence her to death. God save us all. Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, members of the jury, people in authority are always questioned. Others wonder who this powerful being is. Is she a Jill of all trades? A Renaissance woman? Justice is everything. She can do it all. Gender justice, racial justice, environmental justice is all embodied in my client, Lady Justice. The prosecution wants you to believe that she is a supervillain, an evil mastermind plotting the demise of America. When truly, Justice is an impartial being who has uplifted this country's legal system, fighting for fairness and retribution and justice. The meaning of justice is not malice, but fairness. This is something we all know in our hearts. Because since we were kids, we would stand up as a collective, put our hand over our heart, and pledge for liberty and justice for all. Who is Lady Justice? She is a mother. And like any mother, she is best at protecting all. She has not let you down. Law has. Luck has. And very soon, I will prove that to each and every one of you. Thank you.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to FEM Overtime. It's 1966, and Dr. Martin Luther King is advocating for a policy that prohibits housing discrimination and integrates neighborhoods. Fast forward to 1968. A week after Dr. King was assassinated, President Lyndon B. Johnson finally passed the National Fair Housing Act, which requires that each state receive federal dollars to bar housing discrimination and promote residential integration. Fast forward to the present day. This law is still in place, but America is currently in a housing crisis. Nearly half of low-income residents spend 30% of their incomes on housing. In fact, about 21 million Americans need to cut back on food and healthcare just to pay rent. Is that justice? To discuss the injustices of housing and residential segregation, we went to talk to Wendy Housing, who is an affordable housing specialist. Good afternoon, Wendy Housing. Thank you for being with us here today on FEM.
Thank you for having me.
So, Wendy, why did you decide to become an affordable housing specialist?
Look, the fact of the matter is that when I go home at night, I sometimes see mothers with their children on the street with nowhere to go and nothing to eat because they didn't make it to the homeless shelter on time. 9 times out of 10, they're from a minority group. You can't get an apartment without a job, and you can't get a job without an apartment, and that means that people in low-income communities are often having to work 3 jobs just to pay rent. Basically, every racial disparity can be rooted back in American housing.
That doesn't seem like justice.
I grew up in the typical Black and Latino community in Kansas City. And by typical, I mean we had a lot of fast food outlets, barely any safe spaces for exercise, and the water we drank was contaminated with lead. I have asthma. 3 of my cousins have asthma. And the contaminated water irreversibly damaged my sister's brain, which happened to a lot of people we knew.
Especially since houses in low-income neighborhoods are more prone to water leaks, to poor ventilation, and to pest infestation. And studies show that all of this leads to mold and mites and unhealthy allergens that cause asthma. Wendy Housing is 31 years old, married, currently living in Michigan with a child on the way. Since our last conversation, her hometown in Kansas City has improved. How? Under the HUD, the Department of Housing and Urban Development, various communities in Kansas City have apartments that are under a public-private partnership. The federal government gives private developers tax-exempt bonds and tax breaks, and in exchange, private developers build new houses and give out lower rent to their low-income renters. It has transformed Wendy's community into one that is much safer and more well-maintained. Ms. Housing, do you give Lady Justice credit for the improvements to your neighborhood?
I do, and I might even raise my kids back in my hometown. But Lady Justice could still do a lot more. For example, she could make the federal government give loan guarantees to banks to encourage lower interest rates for lower income buyers. And she could also give tax breaks that require property owners to keep a portion of their building units affordable for low-income renters of buyers.
Yes, it is a very complex issue. On the one hand, Lady Justice could convert mobile home parks into residential areas. She could expand rental assistance and immediate relief to stave off evictions. She could set a limit on how much landlords can annually increase rent, while also giving monthly subsidies to low-income residents. On the other hand, what has Lady Justice done? She has helped stave off evictions and promoted construction in at-risk areas. But she has refrained from addressing the food deserts in low-income neighborhoods. She has refrained from building recreational areas. She has refrained from funding schools in low-income neighborhoods. Is this justice or injustice? The housing crisis is an epidemic plaguing America, and there are about 10 different pills for it that need to be swallowed, all at once. The question is, are we willing to? We're going to continue having live coverage on FEM, so stay tuned.
What happened, Lady Justice? You said that if I changed my policies to keep the rich rich, then you would help me stay in office. Answer me. What am I supposed to do? Now I'm in prison with all these people. Ugh. What will happen to my political career?
Can you stop yelling at me? I can't help you. I can barely help myself.
Oh my gosh. What am I going to do? My life is over. I'm probably going to have to sell my wine collection. I'll have to fly coach. This is a disaster.
You're a politician. Who told you to steal the election?
Steal? I was desperate.
Are you two done? Because I have a lot to say to you too. Did you think we would forget that you, a politician, and you, Lady Justice, are the reason why we're here? If you hadn't made all those drug laws, I wouldn't be here.
You're the drug addict. How is this my fault?
I'm sick. I should be in a hospital, not jail.
You still broke the law.
Okay, so then why didn't you get the pharmaceutical companies who prescribed me the drugs?
How come they're not in jail?
Well, what about me? I didn't break the law. I didn't kill that guy. In fact, I was a mile away when it happened. But the newspapers still labeled me a terrorist because of my religion. What happened to my justice?
We are gonna beat your ass!
No, not the face.
Hello, good evening. I'm Veronica Sawyer. Welcome to Feminist Entertainment Media, broadcasting live at our studio with Lady Luck, an expert of legal philosophy and Lady Justice's older sister, for an expose on Lady Justice's work. Good evening, Lady Luck. Thank you for being with us here today on Fem News.
Thank you for having me.
As an expert on luck, how would you describe your work?
My work centers on luck egalitarianism, which is the political philosophy that all people have equal moral status, regardless of their ethnicity, religion, gender, class. Such factors, whether you are black or white, male or female, are just matters of luck.
What do you mean?
Well, I can't make everyone white, or a man, or rich, or Christian, okay? I can't make everyone lucky. As long as people are different, some people will be lucky and some won't. That's just how society naturally plays out.
Well, what do you think Lady Justice should do?
She needs to stop making race a matter of luck in the justice system. First off, she needs to implement more legislation regarding affordable housing and education. Your childhood defines you. Children of color need a stable home, and they need a quality education to motivate them and keep them on the right path, which is towards college.
Oh, you're referring to the school-to-prison pipeline.
Yes. I mean, the school-to-prison pipeline is somewhat based on my work too, because Black kids and kids from low-income neighborhoods are more prone to it. But my sister is the one who puts policemen instead of counselors into these schools. She's the one who incarcerates those kids disproportionately.
I see, but what should Lady Justice do for the people already in the criminal justice system?
Oh, easy. She could just provide more alternatives to incarceration. After-school programs, mental health centers, drug treatment facilities, job training centers. And she needs to make sentences more or less punitive. People should not serve long sentences for non-violent offenses.
Got it. But race is just one part of your work. What other factors of luck does Lady Justice base her work in?
All of them. But for some of the major ones, a woman's reproductive freedom is definitely a product of luck. Because how loose or restrictive the abortion legislation is simply depends on the state.
So when working with race and gender, your sister copies your work.
That's all she does. And don't get me started on other issues. How whether or not a gay couple can buy a wedding cake in a bakery simply depends on the legislation in the state. Or how whether or not an immigrant can enter the US depends on if they're from Latin America or Western Europe.
Any last words for our audience?
I guess all I want to say is heartbreak, disease, injury. That's all luck, and that's natural. Life isn't lucky or fair, and I'm not ashamed of myself for what I do. But when it comes to the justice system, it's all about whether you're lucky to be born in the right state, right race, right religion, right gender. My sister needs to fight for a justice that's devoid of luck, that is based on the inherent equality of humanity and nothing else.
And there you have it, an expose of Lady Justice from her older sister, Lady Luck herself. Comment your reaction with the hashtag LadyLuck'sTruth, and we'll share the top 5 most shared comments.
The prosecution may call their next witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. I call from the past, Sarah Good.
Please swear in the witness.
Please raise your right hand.
I brought my own Bible.
Okay. Do you promise that the testimony you shall give in this case before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your first and last name.
Sarah Good.
Miss Good, please tell the good people of the jury how and when you died.
I was hung, ma'am, in 1692.
They accused you of witchcraft.
Yes.
Who accused you?
Abigail Williams, Elizabeth Paris, and my daughter, Dorothy Good.
Your only daughter? What were the circumstances which led her to turn against her own mother?
What would you say to see your mother again, only to learn that you were the one who killed her? If you were starved and left for dead, what wouldn't you say to leave? The only monsters in that prison were the ones who put them there, who put our family there.
Tissue?
Thank you.
And were you shown mercy?
No, I was executed because of their fear, not for the crime that they had claimed I had committed. They were scared of what they did not understand, cowards. They were scared of the power of our daughters and sisters and mothers. They could never understand the love between a mother and a daughter. So they killed it. Like any other beautiful, pure thing in this world, their hate, the last flicker I saw in their eyes as I died, burned. So even now, I still see it.
Where was justice?
Justice. I can't see her now. She wasn't there for me when the creditors seized my home long before I died, when William and I were homeless. Justice called me confrontational and tried to break me, tried to take me my power, but here I am, even after condemnation. Here I am standing in a courtroom, not unlike the one where I was convicted. I don't need justice. I need revolution. Hanging, the electric chair, lethal injection, all the same, year after year. These are the eyes which I see the world through my daughter's daughters.
To clarify, you are talking about the death penalty?
Yes. You don't know, but all of those who were killed are watching us in this courtroom right now. Those who never saw a fair trial, those who were wrongfully convicted. Young and old, black and white, women and men of all walks of life, all human. All of whom did not deserve to die. They deserve justice. My daughter Dorothy deserved justice. I deserve justice and mercy to be at my side centuries ago. And even now, we deserve change.
Thank you, Miss Good. Your Honor, I have no more questions.
Defense. Your witness?
Thank you, Your Honor. Sarah Good, I empathize with your plight. You were awfully mistreated by your people, weren't you?
Yes.
And what is worse is that you never even got a real trial, a chance to defend yourself.
Correct. It was horrible. The townspeople had already made up their mind about me before the trial even began.
Wow, that is horrible. To be written off by jurors with a vendetta against you, who looked at your demise as something necessary, simply because they feared your strength.
That is correct.
That doesn't sound like justice at all, now does it? It seems to me the people are to blame here. The people are the ones who turned your family against you, correct?
Correct.
And the people unfairly sentenced you, an innocent, misunderstood woman, to death, correct?
Correct.
Tell me honestly, Sarah, would you wish that fate upon anyone else?
No, I don't believe anyone to have to go through what I did. And I don't believe the death penalty is a viable punishment in any trial. It is cruel and unusual punishment and should not be allowed in any court of law.
Thank you, Sarah. No further questions, Your Honor.
Lady Justice, tell us about your childhood.
Well, I was born in Greece in 1785, but I moved to Philadelphia in 1787 and mostly grew up there. I was the second born child, and my sister, Lady Luck, who was born in 1776, I've known since birth that I was destined to work as an advocate of justice in the eyes of the American people. My job is to ensure that I represent justice according to modern cultural standards.
What do you mean by modern cultural standards?
I mean that American culture changes over time, which is why the definition of justice changes over time. That's why I'm innocent of my accusations. I've been falsely accused of corruption on the grounds of taking bribes and robbery, when in reality, I was only doing my best to represent the American people.
You know, you've been accused of.
Falsely accused.
Right. You have been, in your opinion, falsely accused of accepting bribes from college admissions officers, federal judges, businesses, and policemen.
Yes.
Let's start from the beginning. What role do you play in the college admissions process? Don't you think accepting money just plays into a rigged system?
I accept money from college admissions officers in exchange for enrolling privileged students, many of whom are private school students or legacy entering top 20 universities. These wealthy parents donate money to the school, and this money is used to finance more scholarships and expand affirmative action. This rigged system is the system that Americans call educational system. So I just represent that.
I see. Moving on, you've also been accused of accepting bribes from federal judges. Are you saying that each state has its own version of justice?
Yes, I accept money from federal judges in the South in exchange for letting them introduce their own legislation about different feminist issues, abortion, passing the Equal Rights Amendment, having paid maternity leave, childcare. But once again, this was all to represent the American ideal of gender justice.
You know, you've also been accused of taking bribes from religious institutions.
There are many businesses with religious owners that refuse to serve the LGBTQ community. And since real change can only happen gradually, I let them choose how to serve their customers.
And you call yourself justice.
Like I said, I have to represent whatever each state calls me.
Now, your last charge, you've been really lenient on policemen.
Basically, every district in America gives the police qualified immunity, which shields policemen from being held personally liable for constitutional violations. So even if someone dies in police custody, the sheriffs and judges of the district think this shouldn't be punished.
You must agree that this is inhumane.
It is, but it's my job to represent both conservatives and liberals. In this case, I don't deal with morality.
Wow.
What?
I guess I just always equated justice and the law with morality.
I mean, I don't blame you. No one understands me. Every political party in the US wants me to be a different person, and I try to represent everyone. I really do. It's just hard. And how do they repay me? By trying to put me in jail.
So, Lady Justice, why do you believe you're innocent?
All I've done is my job, which is to represent whatever the American people call justice. The American justice system isn't objective, and it never has been. Like my sister, Lady Luck, said in her heartwarming interview about me, It's absolutely based on factors of luck. But I'm only one gear in the system. I'm the messenger. I'm an American creation, so don't blame me. I'm not the one who should be on trial.
Who do you think should be?
The people who make up every corrupt system, the viewers out there who I'm supposed to represent. Americans.
And there you have it, an expose of the justice system from Lady Justice herself. A few key questions we must now ask ourselves. Who is really on trial here? Is it Lady Justice or is it ourselves? And can one trial even cause tangible change to the many issues that America faces?
I know who I am. I deserve the right to speak my case. I am not an evil person. I have feelings too. How can I see gender, color, or race when I'm blind and can't see your face? Law and I are not always the same. I can see as clear as any day, but I'm taking all of the blame. We are a country of laws, not just justice. Country of laws, country of flaws. We live in a country that's not fair for all. Please take my plea if you truly believe in all humanity. This crime isn't just me. I work with whoever's in office. I'm blind, I'm equal, I am the truth, I'm justice. Right is right and wrong is wrong, no judgment. I put the bad away for the crimes. I defend the rights of the good. Where's mine? Everyone deserves to be treated fair. I can't live with any more injustice to bear. I'm so sick of the lies, the hate, the crimes, the pain, the strain. It's so insane, I can't take it. We are a country of laws and not just justice.
The prosecution may call their next witness.
Your Honor, the prosecution calls to the stand Alexa Lopez.
Please raise your right hand. Do you promise that the testimony you shall give in this case before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God?
I do.
Please state your first and last name.
Alexa Lopez.
Alexa, you aren't like most girls your age, right?
No. My mother likes to call me extra special, and then the rest of the world likes to call me a mistake.
Why are you extra special?
I'm a transgender girl, male to female.
Tell me what transitioning has been like for you.
It has its good moments and its bad ones. Since I was 5, I was adamant about the fact that I was a girl. So my parents let me rock, and I could wear whatever I wanted at home. But at school, I had to play on the boys' team, stand on the boys' line, use the boys' bathroom. When I was 10, I told my parents I couldn't do it anymore. I would refuse to go to school because I was playing a character I never signed up to play. This isn't an act, it's my life.
When did you and your family decide to get your name and gender changed?
We've been talking about it for a few months. But unbeknownst to me, they were talking to the lawyers, and on my 16th birthday, it was officially changed. I didn't feel anything at first until I got home and I could shred my original birth certificate.
Your Honor, for Christ's sakes, we'll sit here all night.
Well, if you would stop interrupting without probable cause or an objection, then maybe we would finish faster.
Okay, ladies. Defense, do you have an objection?
Not at this time.
No objections, no buts. Stop interrupting or I will hold you in contempt and your client will have to find a new counsel.
Yes, Your Honor.
Please continue.
Gladly. Alexa, do you need me to repeat the question?
Please.
Of course. How was the process of getting your name and gender changed?
It was hard. It's far more difficult for young adults who don't have their parents on their side. I was lucky in that way. Look, it isn't easy, and it 100% is not cheap.
Do you think you got justice, or did you just get lucky?
I wasn't given anything. I have to fight for everything. I deserved and earned the right to be who I am. I am a girl.
No more questions, Your Honor. Your witness.
So for all physical purposes, you're a boy.
I'm a girl.
In your mind.
Are you trying to be transphobic? Because if so, you're doing a fantastic job.
I'm trying to understand how you managed to get your gender changed without having had reassignment surgery.
I don't know how to answer that.
I'll rephrase the question. In the state of New York, by law, you would have had to have reassignment surgery before you would change your gender on a birth certificate. How did you manage to get that without having had surgery?
My parents consented to it being changed.
Would you say that's justice?
In my case, yeah.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have no more questions.
Your Honor, I have one more question. Alexa, who are you?
I love to sing in my bedroom to Paul McCartney and Demi Lovato. I like to chew gum and crush on boys. I'm not ordinary, and I don't try to be. I like being special. And I have never once been a boy.
Thank you. No further questions.
Thank you, Ms. Lopez. You are dismissed. Order in the court. Order in the court. Is the defense ready to call their first witness?
Yes, Your Honor. The defense calls to the stand Lady Luck.
Raise your right hand. Do you promise that the testimony you shall give in this case before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God.
I do.
Please state your first and last name.
Luck. Lady Luck.
Lady Luck, what is your relationship with Lady Justice?
Well, she is my sister.
Sisters, how sweet. So you would say the two of you are close?
We used to be, but we have grown apart. I don't feel as close to her as I once did.
That is unfortunate, to be so estranged from your only sister. What tragedy would cause such a strain on your relationship?
No tragedy per se, just life.
No tragedy or event or a new family member?
What do you mean?
Even the arrival of a precious newborn can cause distress in any stable household.
Actually,
So you're telling me the arrival of your adopted niece had no effect on your relationship with your sister?
Well, if you would just let me speak. Thank you. Yes, I am not a motherly type, and me and my niece Law have never really gotten along, but that doesn't...
Do you believe this hostility towards the law may be the reason you have grown distant from your sister?
Possibly, yes.
And why is that? It can't just be because you aren't the motherly type.
I would just...
What exactly changed about justice that caused this breakdown in your relationship?
I could get a word out?
Only if you plan to tell the truth.
You can't handle the truth. The truth is she became soft. She adopted this needy infant who completely changed everything we stood for. Justice forgot who gave us our names and our power. She forgot that white males with money and property and power dictate what happens in this country. That the luck they had at birth gave them the justification to control everything. That is what justice should be. It is their birthright to be above the law, and she is denying them that.
So becoming the mother of the law actually made Lady Justice more compassionate and unbiased and fair and powerful. She no longer needs to recognize luck as something viable in a court of law, that someone's birthright, someone's privilege is inadmissible. As she grew in power, you became weaker. And that is truly what drove you two apart. You were threatened by her.
Objection! She's badgering the witness.
Overruled. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Gupta?
Your Honor. Hi, Lady Luck. How are you doing?
Can't you tell?
Don't worry, I only have a few more questions to ask. Lady Luck, I was wondering if you could elaborate on what you told D.A. Taylor. You claim that white males dictate much of the world and are the ones who give you power? How so?
Yeah, we work with them. They work for us, we work for them. It's really interchangeable, you know?
And you believe that white men are lucky from birth?
As they should be.
Why?
Like I said, they get more money, property, and privileges.
Doesn't that mean they get more justice too? Reparations are still to be paid to those who are the product of hundreds of years of slavery and discrimination. But white men are still accumulating wealth.
Ugh, lawyers.
What was that?
I said yeah.
Previously, you stated that your sister is not remembering that white men are supposed to be above the law. But maybe they don't have to be. Don't you believe that law was raised from the very beginning to favor those of privilege? They are not above the law because they are being protected by it whilst others are being killed for it. Now, last question. Law is currently in whose hands?
Justice.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Justice has manipulated her child law towards corruption and favoritism. She hasn't grown more compassionate. Rather, she's become more calculated. Your Honor, I rest my case.
Wow. My sister is more vindictive than I thought. I love it.
The witness is dismissed.
You know those people that just cry and cry all the time? Yeah, kids. I can't stand them. Do you ever just want to you know, just like, God, I hate kids. Roll the dice, spin the wheel, Lady Luck might be revealed. Here I am, the goddess of your fate. You better pray to me, things go your way. You better pray to me, things go your way. I'm always wanted, but I'm not always needed. Some things just have their fate. I interfere when I feel undefeated, keeping justice in her place. My sister is corrupt, she's out of luck, she needs to go to jail. And maybe once I'll be on top.
Justice calls me selfish, I don't give a damn. I play the game, well that's just who I am. Is it wrong my sister's taking all the blame? No, I won't help, we're not the same. Love calls me reckless, I don't give a damn. Don't follow rules, well that's just who I am. Is it wrong my sister's taking all the blame? Go ahead and put her to shame. Lady Luck, I am Lady Luck, I am Lady Luck. You better pray to me things go your way.
The defense may call their next witness.
Defense calls Miss Law.
Raise your right hand. Do you promise that the testimony you shall give in this case before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God?
Yes.
Please state your first and last name for the record, miss.
I just go by Law.
Hello, Law. It is great to see you here today. Would you please state for the record how you are related to Lady Justice?
Not by blood, that's for sure. She's my adoptive mother.
As you stated in your interview, you believe she has some power and control over the laws you make.
Yes, she does.
But you never actually heard your mother say that you create these horrific laws like the law on witchcraft and the Jim Crow laws.
Well, no, she never actually said anything to me specifically about creating those laws.
Actually, your aunt, Lady Luck, informed the court that Justice fought for fairness and equality in this country on your behalf.
I guess she might have perceived it that way.
Yet you say that people hate you because of what Justice has made you do, but you're not on trial, are you?
No, I guess not.
In actuality, Justice became more fair and more powerful because of you. She saw the mistakes you were making and tried to correct them. She desperately tried to set you on the better path. In fact, Justice worked tirelessly to counteract your biased laws. So, who really coerced you to create them?
May
I remind you that you're under oath?
The people of the United States, the ones in power at least, suggested that I create those laws. At the time, it seemed like we were doing what was right, what was necessary.
So your mother never had anything to do with these biased, unjust laws coming into fruition.
Argumentative.
The truth is, raising a child alone in this country, being a single mother in America, is what changed Justice. She saw what the system does to people without prestige, and she was tired of it. Justice wanted to use her status for good. And that is why you blame your mother for your tarnished name, because she brought your dirty dealings to light. No more questions, Your Honor.
Your Honor, may I speak to the witness on the stand?
Yes, go ahead.
Hi, Law.
Are you going to be mean to me too?
No, I just wanted to ask you who the people were from before, who asked you to write the unjust laws.
Mr. Washington, Mr. Hamilton, Mr. Lincoln.
So, white men.
Yeah.
The kind who work for your mother, Justice.
Yes.
You seem to not like talking about your mother.
I don't want to.
Does she not always tell you what she's doing? How often is your mom home?
Never. No, sometimes. I don't see her for months, and it's not like she doesn't listen. She doesn't always abandon me. She's a good mother. Good. I'm the burden. I'm the bad kid.
That sounds like abuse. She's gaslighting and manipulating you. You're not a bad kid, Law. It's your mother who has to face her crimes. Your Honor, I'm done with this witness.
Law, you may step down. Order in the court. Order in the court. Please call your next witness.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear that the testimony you shall give in this case before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your first and last name.
Breonna Taylor.
Miss Taylor, thank you for being with us today. Could you tell the court where you're from?
Louisville, Kentucky.
Tell us about yourself.
I was 26 years old. I was an EMT for 2 hospitals, and I used to live with my boyfriend.
Why did we ask you here today?
To speak about why justice deserves to be prosecuted.
Would you say you had a fair shake in the past?
I wouldn't go as far as to call it that.
Care to elaborate?
Well, if a team of armed men barged into your home in the middle of the night with no warning, shooting down walls, following protocol, would you stop and think to yourself, that's okay because it's fair? Fairness requires emotional intelligence and the ability to utilize ration and empathy. Respectfully, it's not a skill being thoroughly taught to the blue lives expected to be ready to kill or protect my Black life at any moment in time.
Miss Taylor, are you referring to the events of March 13, 2020?
I am.
Can you tell us the events of the night?
From what I remember, I heard a loud bang, loud footsteps, gunshots, and then flashes of light. I felt burning sensations at a point, but I don't remember much after that.
On the night of March 13th, the Louisville Police Department used, at the time, a legal no-knock warrant to enter your home. Do you agree that they were just following law?
Does it matter? Honestly, does it matter? Regardless of the reason, do you honestly think it mattered? Yes, I'd known that they were investigating my ex-boyfriend because they believed that he had been using my apartment as a trap house at the time that we were together. But that's not why we're here. That's not what brought me here today. Those blue lives, those proud boys, perched upon their privilege while I, Breonna Taylor, Sandra Bland, Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd, Philando Castile, let's bring it back to Rodney King and Malcolm X. While we remain the casualties for the cause of the Black lives that are supposed to matter. You want to talk to me about why the police felt it necessary? Talk to me about the real issue. Matter of fact, talk to them, the people. In reality, I am not here. I am not here because those in power do not see me as someone who deserves to breathe. The value of being able to take a breath is overlooked. They do not see us as people, as human, as worthy of life until death. And at that point, What's done has been done. Justice is not the problem. The people that invented their own idea of justice are the problem. Those that thought it was a good idea to put people with their biases, with their emotions, and their extreme collective ignorance to be the ones that dictate who and what is deserving of their mercy. You know what I have to say about luck and law and justice? Burn it down. Reclaim your freedom and do not feel guilty about a damn thing. No justice, no peace.
And now for the closing statements.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, Your Honor, these deaths, these murders, this suffering is not because of justice. It happens in her absence. Lady Justice, we all take her for granted. We never appreciate her hard work and service. But when times get rough, it becomes a witch hunt. We must slay someone who has been protecting us since before some of you were born. She's become the scapegoat for everything that is wrong with this country, which is ironic because she is the only thing right with this country. Justice is the pinnacle of fairness, unwavering, unbiased. According to the Supreme Court, her scales symbolize the equal administration of the law without corruption, favor, greed, or prejudice. Lady Justice does not inflict any biases on the court because she has none. The bias lies fully with you. Our society has manipulated her name, tarnished her image. People see a powerful woman adorned with a sword. Her strength brings fear to the masses who don't realize that her sword represents the swiftness of the law. And I do agree with the prosecution that there is a lot wrong with our society as it lies today, but the blame does not lie with my client. To the contrary, Lady Justice has been fighting for equality for centuries. She has dedicated her life to serve every person, no matter their race, religion, gender, sexual orientation, ethnicity, and even citizenship status. Law is the one who has weaponized those aspects of one's identity. The late, great Dr. Martin Luther King once said, "Let us remember that there is a creative force in this universe working to pull down gigantic mountains of evil. A power that is able to make a way out of no way and turn dark yesterdays into bright tomorrows. Let us realize the moral arc of the universe is long, but it bends towards justice." Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if it doesn't fit, you must acquit. You must find my client, Lady Justice, innocent. Rest my case. Thank you, Your Honor.
Lady Justice has become a weapon of mass murder. say that she hasn't been at the scene of the crime is equivalent to a turning of a blind eye. This nation is built in the image of our colonizers. We must recognize that by deciding to stop her now in this courtroom, we will not only be empowering ourselves, but we will be saving millions of lives across the globe. Where is the strength, the bravery, the equality of life, and the pursuit of happiness for Indigenous women who are abducted and murdered, and for women in India who are the victims of violence? Being a lawyer and a person of privilege, every day I put people in jail because of law. But Lady Justice, she manipulates, corrupts, her actions kill. Ladies and gentlemen, I ask you to take a stand and condemn justice to death. For Alexa Lopez, Breonna Taylor, Sarah Good, for all of those who have survived her prolonged wrath. Today, let us remain on the right side of history. With this verdict, let them say that though justice may have taken many lives in the past, it is the people who have won the war. Thank you.
The nation thanks you for your attendance today, ladies and gentlemen. It has not been an easy trial, and it will not be an easy decision. Before we proceed, I would like to say that I too was raised on this soil along Lady Justice and many of you. It has not been easy building a nation out of pen and paper, trial and error. And we stand here today not as the defenders of the Constitution, the protectors of the people, the comrades of Lady Justice. We stand here as a nation birthed from the blood, sweat, and tears of our predecessors. And I, judged nonpartisan, will stand for the nation they fought for. It is time to proceed with the verdict. Members of the jury, you have now heard all the testimony concerning this case. It is up to you to determine the facts as you find them. Have you reached a verdict? Before I read the verdict, I would like to ask the defendant if they have anything else to say.
Yes, Your Honor. People of the jury, some of you think of me as lazy, standoffish, with an attitude problem. Let's just face it, some of you don't like me. Yes, that is half the truth, but the other half is I'm strong, independent, protective, and hardworking. I know what I've done. I know how I've affected so many people. I'm owning up to my part in it. But look in the mirror and realize, with all due respect, you are the problem, not just me. You confuse kindness for justice. You confuse revenge for justice. You ever wanted to get even and call it justice or the law? I'm pretty sure you have. You use me to cover up your vengeful acts and blame me for all of it. You are to blame, not me. Once I'm gone, who are you going to blame then? Law? Luck? The system? I am not perfect. And it's time that we all take ownership. What I hope for you is stop pointing the finger at each other and start pointing the finger at yourselves, working together to restore balance. I am Lady Justice. Do you know what my first name is? It's social. Social justice. And I strive for fairness, equity, and peace. I am innocent.
I will now read the verdict. The jury finds Lady Justice not guilty of corruption and bribery. Pointing out, ladies and gentlemen, Lady Justice, you are free to go. As for you, the people, I order you to be educated about your government. And as for your punishment, you are to cure cancer, feed their children, stop global warming, and unite all of the countries to ensure peace throughout the planet. Court is adjourned.
In an unprecedented outcome, Lady Justice has been found innocent and sentenced to community service. You, the jury, have answered this trial's fundamental question. Lady Justice is not the wolf in sheep's clothing, we are. Interesting to see if there will be any social media backlash to this verdict, or who knows, maybe a greater push for more progressive and equitable laws. We'll have full coverage of the trial coming up later on FEM, Feminist Entertainment Media. For now, I'm Veronica Sawyer, and send us any messages or comments at girlbeheard.org.
I am not an evil person. I have feelings too. How can I see gender color arrays when I'm blind and can't see your face? Law and I are not always the same. Law can see as clear as a day, but I'm taking all of the blame. We are a country of laws, not just justice. Country of laws, country of flaws. We live in a country that's not fair for all. Please take my plea if you truly believe in all humanity. This crime isn't just me. I work with whoever's in office. I'm blind, I'm equal, I am the truth, I'm justice. Right is right and wrong is wrong, no judgment. I put the bad away for the crimes. I defend the rights of the good. Where's mine? Everyone deserves to be treated fair. I can't live with any more injustice to bear. I'm so sick of the lies, the hate, the crimes, the pain, the strain. It's so insane, I can't take it. We are a country of laws and not just justice.